So here we have a 2004 Cadillac Escalade. I've got the instrument cluster pulled out because it is just completely non-responsive. It lights up, so I guess that's some response, but there's just nothing on it. So in one of my videos I did previously on a Chevy cluster, a gentleman by the name, oh, that's just floating around in there. That could be causing problems. Let's see, I'm gonna need, what is this, flux pin for rework. Test this out here. Probably shouldn't be pushing on the side of that stepper motor pin. Aha, there we go. Do a little flux here and here. This is awesome. You can get into tiny teeny little spots with this. That's gonna work. Also got a solder wick. It's just I never really had the right solder equipment because all I did was RC stuff with the solder biff. I'm going to be doing these repairs and might as well get the right stuff, right? Right. Okay, so we'll throw this in here. I didn't even notice a light being out in this position. Oh, that is so sweet. A gentleman by the name of Ikra, I think he's from French Canada. He did a video about the 7 resistors on the back and the need for soldering those properly. I made my attempt and soldered the back side here, and it worked for a little while and then it stopped again. So I'm going to try what he's saying. Since the last time I did the soldering videos, so somebody's saying, get a soldering station, do this, do that, get different tips, you're doing it wrong. And I was. So I got a solder sucker, I got a solder flux pen, and a bunch of other stuff. I got some better solder, which I should be using. I forgot I even had this. It says 2% copper in it or something like that. It's supposed to be a better solder wire. But I got a good tip cleaner. I got an assortment of tips ranging in all different sizes. I've been using that one a lot. It's blue. It's working great, but for these little resistors I wanted to go with something really small. So that's where we're at. So let's go ahead and do those. Good looking console. The bezels on it I think are good looking. The way you get into all of this is you use a fork to pull all of the different needles off of the stepper motors. I got a bunch of these stepper motors on order. I ordered 25 of them, so I'll be able to fix all the oil sending units that seem to go bad, and a speedometer on another one I need to do. But these are all good, so that's great. See that there are 7 of them. So let's throw you in the tripod and solder up some of these resistors. These circuit boards are kind of like a city. You got all kinds of different highways and buildings and all that kind of stuff. So for orientation, just to the up and left of the speedometer, we're going to show you. You can see where I did a couple of them and then just got real crazy with it. So I'm going to solder suck that one off. See that thing just wiggle. Probably should wiggle test these just to see what's going on. Alright. I forget what the name of it is. It's some special compound. I put it in the vise and broke it off and just fit it in there. But look how nice and pretty the tip gets when you rub it on that. I mean, it just tins it really well. That's what it says it would do, and it seems to do it, so that's great. I'll find a name for it and just put it right here. That's what it is. Alright, back to the job at hand. You see the board's real yellow around it. It's not bad. I've seen ones that are brown. But resistors put off heat. Heat tends to make the solder go bad. So oh man, having the right tools makes all the difference. I spent about $80 in solder and tips. The tips for all those extra tips was like $8. I mean, Hakko had a really good deal on them. Hakko's a Japanese brand, I believe. Some good stuff. I don't remember exactly what I paid for the iron, but I bought it at a hobby shop. But the tips are a little bit different size than the 2 tips that mine came with. So I had to put a little teeny washer in it. If you look in the end of it, probably won't be able to see it, but trust me, there's a little washer that I had to custom grind down to get this to work. Probably be a real good idea to hit that with the solder pen and then go back with this. Alright, so now we're going to flip it around the other way for sake of ergonomics and just being easy to work with. I know these don't look very small, but they are very small. They're just little things. Make sure it's hot enough, long enough that it'll wet down properly. Boy, these new tips are fantastic. Love them. The tip cleaner's great too. My old tips, they were just junk. I mean, I had plenty of heat turned up, just couldn't get conducted because the surface was so fouled. See the board turning yellow from my solder iron on it. It's like it's made to do that. A little tattletale. People are talking. Want it to be real shiny before you let off. Alright, so as I'm looking across these, they look like I've goobered every single one of them up properly. So we're happy about that. I've got that light bulb back in place. I can't think of anything else we need to do. These stepper motors are all good. So we'll zoom out and we'll put it back together. What I did is the guy that I just mentioned a while ago that turned me on to soldering these, he did a demonstration on his putting it together, so you can watch his to see how that's done. I'm just gonna cruise through this and get it together just because it's been one of those days and it's just time. Just left the clear part, the light conductor, with this one. Got our little stepper motors, center and poking through, so go pop here and here. That one stays with the clear lens. So I centered that. What I did is I took a picture. What he did is he put a piece of tape and just kind of wrote on it. What's weird is when you pull these up with a fork, maybe I'll just show you. When you pull them up with a fork, you stick your fork underneath of it like this and then turn it to the left, and as you turn it to the left it just kind of pops off. It's really interesting. I used a really heavy duty stout fork and I found that it's too thick to get underneath. The gap between the bezel and the fork's not great, so a cheaper one would probably be in order. It'd probably be more flexible and less likely to damage things too. So what I do is I just took my phone and I just took a picture, because I do that a lot, constantly using this. So I set them all to the left, and this was like before I took it apart. Come on, phone, don't do this on me. Anyway, you get the idea. So I can just look at this and see where they're at and get the proper whatever you call it, where it passes down. So that's nice and smooth. It's really good order. So I'll go down until it matches my picture. It tape idea is really not a bad idea. I'm just phone camera guy. Excited to get those stepper motors in. I know it's stupid, but so I went too far, so I gotta go back around this way. It's stupid, but I'm thinking about taking a couple of those just for practice that are bad, like on that Chevrolet, and just saying, hey, can I borrow your truck? And just fixing it for them. Because I'm dumb like that, and then I get more people, will you fix mine for free? I heard you fix stuff for free. Let's see, it's like feeding a cat. You feed a stray cat and it will never go away until you pour cold water on them in the morning, and then they will. But that's just between you and me, right? The loud ones. Okay, so tap, move that over, blow it up. So you can see what I'm doing here. I'm just making a match. It's not rocket science. It's kind of fun. When I look back and forth really quick, it's really easy to see if it's right or not. For me anyway. Project from earlier today. Ever freaked out about how cheap, how good that turned out? Same problem, now I'm going to have even more people wanting me to fix their car. Alright, it wouldn't be so bad if I wasn't doing it so late in the evening. That gets old. Got up super early this morning. Alright, now these are a pain to get undone underneath of here because it's kind of hidden underneath. So you gotta kind of pry it up. So it's fitting that they're a pain to put back together too. These top ones, super easy. Excuse me, pardon me. Alright, yeah, it's already clicked in. Yay! I'm getting clumsy. Alright, so that all looks good. Put this down. Button this back up. So there's places that'll do this for you. There's, what was it, Advanced Automotive, or Advanced Automotive. There's a guy, I'm sure it's in the suggested videos, for cluster repair. Isn't that pretty? I like that. I just buy one of these and put it in your Chevy truck. It's just classy, the Escalade one. Let's put it in, see how it works. So I've got it put in there, just set in, plugged in. Let's see, where'd I put the key? Now this had gum wrappers, like foil gum wrappers in there, and I found those because I found a blown fuse. I was trying to see if there was a blown fuse for this. I know it's a radio fuse from seeing it in other ones, but radio fuse was good. The lights up, we get check engine light, and it's still for shit sold. Swing and a miss. I don't know what's the deal with this one. That's a bummer. See if we can save our battery. It's got dumb automatic headlights that keep draining it. Yeah, I don't know on this one. I'll have to do my homework and see if I can find what it is. I guess that's a good tour around the resistors and pulling the needles off and whatnot. Looking at the stepper motors, so this video is not totally in vain, but it certainly is not a fix. So I'm power probing through the fuses through here, and they're all fine. Didn't change anything, didn't do anything. Lo and behold, it works now. Just frustrating because tomorrow it won't. Or you bill them, say, hey, I fixed it. See, now it's not working. What a piece of junk. I don't know what to tell you on this one. This one's really got me stumped. What a hoopty. These clusters are so fickle. Wonder if I go through and just do the same thing. Now, some of these were kind of twittery, like they're sputtering. Not showing ground. I don't know why this is showing ground now, because before it was, well, I did turn the lights off, so that could be it. Yeah, it was doing that. Is it on yet? Nope. Yeah, I don't know what the heck. I'm really frustrated. It's been so intermittent, and I've really covered my bases well. It looks like it's not lighting up in the middle now. That bottom left corner is lighting up good where I soldered in that one bulb. Huh, keep looking into it. Rumor has it, if you look on the forums and stuff online, that there's an issue with the ground. If you follow this ground, it goes to the back of the engine block. And I've played with that one, I've cleaned it, I've messed around, and that's not helping at all. So I don't know. I've done a lot of wiggle tests. I had the cluster out on the dash upside down facing this way, and I was looking underneath the hood at it, and I was just going around with the different wire harnesses and wiggle testing. That didn't get it to come on, but for some reason checking the fuses did. So I don't know what's the deal. So I climbed up in there, I got rid of the spoon. There's like this big black metal spoon thingy right here. I think it's to protect the fuel rail. So I had to pull that off, got in there, wire brush the crap out of everything on that connection. And now, when I go to try it, this is the second time I've worked on it. This time I was really thorough. Now when I put the key in, everything works. And you don't have to start it, by the way. I thought I had to. And it works every dang time. What the heck, seriously? That's all it was? So, anyway, I didn't think it was going to fix it. I really didn't. It didn't look that bad. But every time I go to use this now, every single time it's working. So, until you start it. Maybe it's an ignition switch problem. Way to go, dude. You fixed it. No. Oh, this is annoying. This is one of the more annoying problems I've had on one of these. Really not liking that. Isn't that something that would fire up and show, and it's gotta be an ignition switch problem. It just doesn't make any sense. I can't get it to come on for anything now. Arg. I just don't know what to shake or wiggle, or, you know, I've done the tilt up and down a bunch of times just to see if that does it. I think they've got some holes in their rear shocks, self-adjusters. When I get the best result out of this, and anytime that it does work, it's when I've been doing something and I left the charger on it and then it's all the way charged. That doesn't make any sense. And I'm talking about the battery. But like this damn thing, this darn thing, excuse me, always has the headlights coming on and it's draining the battery all the time. So I get the battery charged up, and when the battery's full, that's when the dash lights seem to work. And then when you crank it, it's like there's a voltage threshold that's not being met, either due to a ground or due to a power or something. But that's the only thing I can come up with. I got nothing beyond that. So I've got the battery charging. I found that the battery terminals were loose, so I tightened them, and then it still wasn't working. But after the battery's been charging for a little while, I turn it on and the dash works. I start it up, the battery gets low, and it just wipes it out. You'll notice that everything's just gone. That is just crazy. I'm stumped. I think the battery's bad. I think something's wrong with the battery. Hence I have to, oh, you see that reset just now? Hence I have to keep recharging it all the dang time. So now it's on again. So if I just leave that on for a while, or say if I were to turn on like a blower motor or something. That would lower the voltage, just like running the starter or something. And that should cause it to conk out, if my theory's right. Step on the brake lights. Turn some wipers on. Yeah, my theory sucks. Huh. Yeah, it beats the heck out of me. Just one little tick of the thing, and it just wipes it right out. And now it won't work. But if I charge the battery up for a while, turn it off, yeah. If I charge the battery for a while and try it again later, it'll work. We'll turn the lights to that and then off. So everything goes to bed. So it's coming on pretty consistently now. I'm stumped. I'm saying just post this and see if anybody else knows. I'm gonna throw this out to you guys. I don't know. I will say that that pernal is nice and bright. Soldering those resistors on the back, those 7 sister resistors, I don't think that was necessarily a waste of time. I sure wish the speedometer and all that other junk could work. Gosh. So here's another fun test. So you can see that I've got it in 1 or low. So I go to start it and the ignition switch cycles the power off. It kills it, but it doesn't totally kill it until I engage the starter. If I engage the starter, it kills it for a while. That's got to be something in the cluster. It's not in the ignition switch. It has to do with the starting circuit. I don't know. I'll sleep on it. Alright, this is worth noting. You see all of this is on, and you see how the key's right there? This is some funky chicken stuff, so I decided to clean the other end of this. I didn't realize how incredibly significant this ground is to that pernal. Listen. You hear all kinds of stuff clicking and unclicking and engaging and disengaging. That thing's really frickin' important. What do you bet that it works now? You wouldn't think that this ground would be that critical. Oh, but it is. Alright, I'm learning. I've seen grounds be important before, like on the back of a Toyota Sequoia engine. Oh, those are important. They'll wipe out half your sensors if you don't have them hooked up. Oh, I was hoping that would do it. Still nothing. Alright, so pull the key out, turn the lights off, cycle them back, off position, put the key in, wait for it to twitch. So it's back online. Oh, I don't know. This is all reset. It was off before. So weird. I want that to work so bad, but it's just not happening. I just need to sleep on it. That was interesting, the effect the ground had on it. Is this thing on? Good morning. So I come out in the garage the next day, and this thing's still charging at like 2.3 amps. It said internal short yesterday while I was testing, but I thought that might be because I'm testing. This thing has a bad parasitic draw, or the battery's toast. Something's not right. Like I say, the cigarette lighter, it had some gum wrappers in it last night, and a couple of fuses were blown. When you look in here, see how dirty everything used to be in here before I washed it? When you look at the bottom 2 fuses, the cigarette lighter and something called SEOB1, whatever that is, those were both blown. You see there's some pen markings next to them, so somebody's experienced that before. I did. So Anyway, so what do we got this morning? What do you have for us, Escalade? As I was thinking about it, I think that the negative terminal to the block is bad, because if that one made such a big dang difference, then that's the only path for electricity and it's not enough. That probably from the negative terminal to the engine block, where this other one's picking up from the block to the body, is knackered. Oh, look at that, nothing at all. Start it, crank it, nothing. So it's even worse overnight. Isn't this just something? I figured for sure it'd at least come on and maybe even work. So we're working on the same Escalade. I gave up on this. I couldn't get it right, so I took it into Advanced Automotive, and they specialize in doing these GM ones. Got a hat, might as well. But anyway, it worked. I put the new cluster in, it still didn't work until we put the booster pack on, and then once we put the booster pack on, it'd fire up just like when I had it on the charger. This would come on when it had it on the charger long enough, but otherwise it wouldn't come on. So, and when you start it, that would suck the battery down so bad. So long story short, the reason why it's working now is while I was there, I picked up a new battery. They hooked me up with a discount on a AC Delco battery, and only with this in does the cluster work. So isn't that something? You'd think that if your battery and of course you see the battery lights on, it says battery not charging, alternator's not putting on it out at all, and that's what wiped out the battery. You see a tow strap in the passenger seat, so that's some details I didn't get from the owner of the vehicle. As far as the cluster, everything works on it now, so that's good. So I had to sell them on a cluster and a battery and now an alternator. Awesome. So this blew fuses and everything, and that's fine and great, but the main thing was just junk getting in this. It was full of gum wrappers, like the little foil ones. I'd thrown them away already, or I'd show you. But man, where did I think I took them out and threw them away properly. That's just a, you don't do that. You don't do a power outlet in a woman, kids, and everybody SUV vehicle with it down like that. You know, it's just, I mean, it's got a bead or something else in there I couldn't get out. Blow it out with compressed air. What a mess. Wiped out the cluster, wiped out the alternator, wiped out the battery. Alright, so I just put the new alternator in. I got a new battery. Let's see what we got. This car sucks. Alright, so our voltage is good, our battery light's still on. Hopefully that'll turn off. Change engine oil. Okay, battery light turned off. Oil gauge is looking good. Temp's accurate. Both counts. Wow. Everything's working now. You know, aside from it didn't start right up, I just had to laugh, because if you don't laugh, you're gonna cry. Some of these are so frustrating. I've never seen an instrument cluster crash because the battery and the alternator were bad. I've never seen something get by and drive as long and as well as this did with a bad alternator and a bad shorted battery. What a mess. What a mess. I'd say it's sure working good now though. That's the main thing. But it's just nuts, because I mean, for the alternator being bad, getting a jump start and being able to drive it the way I did doesn't make sense. So I took this and I bench tested this off the vehicle at the auto parts store, and it showed it was bad. I mean, there's no doubt about it. There's no guesswork or part swapping going on here whatsoever. I mean, everything was tested, but it's like the symptoms were so screwy. I mean, it's like the battery would start it okay. I had to get the battery charger out and always have it on the charger, but that's often the way with these things, because the headlights are always draining the battery. Really hard on batteries. It's a really idiotic system to not be able to turn that off. I mean, yeah, you gotta, I'm just gonna whine and complain. You don't need my whining and complaining. Usually you can just do that. So I'm going to put the bezel on this and call it good. What a mess. You want to see, I'm going to say we'll show off the fancy stickers that I got from Advanced Automotive. If you don't want to mess with this nightmare and have to be putting this in and out, you can send it to Absolute Automotive and Accessories LLC and they'll repair it. These guys know what they're doing and it's lifetime warranty. But it's gminstrumentcluster.com. It says void if removed. They got a lifetime warranty on it. And they're not just putting a new board in it either. I mean, you can see my solder joints and tell the difference on the back. You know, that's the original one, and it was a same-day turnaround. Works great. Works awesome now. That's the main thing. So, if like I say, if you don't want to mess with it, they just go through and rebuild the whole thing. It costs about 200 bucks. So that's the way to go. Tell them that I sent you. Make sure you do me proper on that. I get 20 bucks for every person that I send there. So anyway, that's a way you can say, thanks Brian, you're a great guy and I needed this or whatever. So yeah, tell them Brian's Mobile One sent you. It's nice when things finally work, you know, even if it's a long frustrating thing. I always stick with it because I always win eventually. Just takes some time sometimes to find it. It's a funny thing, you know, when we went, I was in the parking lot, you know, we threw this in there and it didn't work. I'm like, guys, it's still not working. Of course, they're going to crap their pants because they've never seen this. But it's good that I did that because now they're even more experts at this than they would have been before. Well, somebody else had the same problem with the bad battery. They get their cluster, they mail it out, and they're like, it's not working. You know, the cluster doesn't work. And, you know, they're like, well, it's your vehicle. You can say, well, it's your vehicle. Or you can say, well, check the battery, have it tested. You know, and if it's the battery, like, okay, well, you know, there you go. That way they can be a better service because they experienced what I experienced, which was a really weird, freaky instance or incident. So anyway, thanks for watching. Click subscribe. You guys are great. You know, I get such great support, and you know, like, I make mistakes like anybody else does, and it seems like I post these videos, you guys don't just be like trolling and just, you messed up. You guys give me the solution. That's awesome. You know, it makes it that much easier to be able to share what I do. You know, I've been doing this for years. I got a lot of experience. I got schooling, but you still run into new stuff all the time. So, and I'm trying to throw this out there to help people so that they can fix their problems, and you guys are helping me back. So it's just awesome. Cheers. It's fitting that a vehicle that has been this big of a pain in the neck would have a broken wheel stud on one side. Go to the other side, and you got another broken wheel stud. All these other four were loose, and that one's like totally knackered to the side. What's it like on the back? Well, we got all of them on the back. About this side. Got all of them there, but they don't look like they're all tight. That one looks like it's sticking out. Oh my gosh, what a vehicle.